Okay, so Overwatch 2, a game that came out last year that a lot of people were hyped about, but ended up letting a lot of people down. Apparently has reached new lows to say the least. Because I remember when the game had first launched a year ago, and basically it was a disaster for the most part because the game obviously just like didn't live up to people's expectations because there were changes in Overwatch 2 in comparison to what we got to Overwatch 1, which a lot of people really didn't appreciate. One of them being the decision to block player versus environment missions behind a paywall, and that's just another example of corporations being greedy like usual. And it seemed like they even like scaled back on a couple of things, and that's something that was not appreciated at all because like even though the game had like 5 versus 5 like gameplay, the predecessor had 6 versus 6 gameplay, and it kind of made no sense to go backwards, because a lot of people were expecting improvements, not for the company to scale back on Overwatch 2 like features and to charge people for extra things. And even though um even though they got rid of loot boxes, which was something that was a key issue in the first game, they decided to replace that with a battle pass system, which was BS. And I don't know. It's just like for the most part, it seems like video game companies like Blizzard Entertainment, they're trying to make you spend more than what you have to when it comes to new games for the most part. And it should be noted like Blizzard had like a very turbulent year in 2022 with all the bad press and publicity they were getting their work about their work environment. Then you also had the acquisition between Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. So Blizzard was in the news quite a bit last year. And I'm not here to completely just trash and bury Overwatch 2 because it does have good features like full cross platform gameplay, and also like it was one of the few like first person shooter games of 2022 that really stood out. But that's mainly because 2022 in general is just a weak year in terms of video game releases. There wasn't really anything um, that there was nothing like that really stood out last year as far as high profile releases, probably except God of War Ragnarok, and that's about it. But for the most part, yeah, Overwatch 2 pretty much got negative reviews, and it's been considered like one of the lowest rated games of Steam for the most part. And obviously we know why that's the case. It's not the worst Steam game of all time, and it's not the worst game that Blizzard Entertainment has ever produced. But at the same time, it could have been a hell of a lot better because people have been waiting for Overwatch 2 for years, and you would think that going into season 6 they try to make a better impression in terms of quality, and giving people what they ask for, especially if they're going to charge them, and try to find ways to implement new, I guess, methods of, I guess, gaining more revenue and more from money from people in general. But it is what it is. Overwatch 2 definitely could have been a lot better than what it was. Could have ended up becoming one of the best first person shooter games of the 2020s decade, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that way from here on out.